The most powerful tool a prospector can utilize is his knowledge of the ground.
Oh no, it hasn't started well.
And that can only be built up over years of work.
I can see it, it is gold. I'm gonna say that this is my favorite one.
Because an intimate knowledge of your ground is going to allow you to find gold again.
You're a tin miner, Harry.
And again.
Oh yeah, a few little nanos in there, eh?
And again.
I got you a new hat. Oh, you can watch you sell it in it.
But the only way to develop that knowledge is to embrace the fact that you're going to fail sometimes.
What kind of sound? What?
That's right, a pasta salad sandwich. What were we talking about? So I've been at home cleaning up high banker concentrates for the last few days.
And I still got a whole bunch to go.
When Gazzy sends me a message saying, do you want to go back to that incredibly rich spot that's been underwater for the last 3 months? Who's that? You gotta lick him in the ear hole. Taste those lobes. Yeah. The thing you have to understand about gold prospecting is we don't know where the gold is. We just know where it once was. Every time we strike out in the creek, we start test panning, and our pans ultimately lead us to gold deposits. But those gold deposits don't last forever.
Last time we were here was over a year ago, and we pulled multiple grams of gold each off this stretch. We haven't been able to access it because of the floods, and look at the black sand that's just sitting on the surface.
This was encouraging because black sand is heavy and tends to collect near or with the gold.
Just up here there is a gravel layer, and that gravel layer has like 4 or 5 specks of pan in it. That's the gravel layer just there. When the floods come along, it rips all of that dirt away, and this year it's ripped out a couple of meters of bank, and it concentrates that 4 or 5 specks of gold into a couple hundred specks of gold at the base. And you can see how that gravel is concentrated right on the edge of the fast water.
So whilst this used to be a good spot, we don't know if the floods were too violent and left us any gold.
No pixie pan though.
No, not yet.
Any golds? No.
Oh no, it hasn't started well.
And that's just the thing about gold prospecting. Where there once was gold, there may not be anymore. And where there once wasn't gold, there may be. You see, nature lays gold in however it sees fit, not how you see fit.
What we're looking for here is called a pixie pan, where you see a ring of gold at the top, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, we got gold, but not what it once was.
The recent floods Victoria had were some of the biggest in the last decade, and this means that the water was more violent than normal. Ultimately, this means it shifted the gold into different areas, and it's our job to track it down.
This is the thing about gold prospecting, you got to go back to old spots and check them, but there's no guarantee that the old spots are going to be as good as they once were. There's gold here, it's just not what it was.
When we first discovered this spot, we were getting probably 200 or 300 specks of pan. This is still acceptable,
But it's certainly not what it once was.
so how do we track gold down? It's simple. Every test pan we take, we pay attention to the type of heavies we're getting. On Reedy Creek, the chunkier the black sand, and the more of it, the closer you are to a main gold deposit.
Senior Sweatpants just found this. It looks like a ripper tooth off some, obviously big digging equipment.
Do I still look pretty?
So far it looks like there is no super concentrator here like there once was. I think the water might have been too violent and it's pushed the gold away. Because what you're really looking for in any concentrator is for the water to move the dirt away, but be slow enough to drop the gold, much like a sluice box. But I found okay gold just in this section. So while Gadsy down there is on his crest for Eldorado, I'm gonna stick with my mini Eldorado just here.
And to my own surprise, I'd have a reasonable amount of gold by the end of the day.
Convenient bush seat. Ooh. You may have heard of Between Two Ferns, but now you're watching Between Two Hairy Legs. See, last week I went high banking on a spec count similar to this, and I got a really good gold take at the end of the day. I'm prospecting in a place called Reedy Creek. This is in northeast Victoria, Australia. This creek is one of the richest alluvial gold creeks on Earth. But as Miss Fernie will tell you, this creek is also renowned for its gemstones and crystals. All the gold here is flour gold, so we never check our classifier for nuggets. I've never seen a nugget that would be bigger than this. But what you do check them for is gemstones. Look at this agate. Look at this. I almost missed it, but look at the banding in it. Look at that side. Senior Sweatpants, check out my crystal agate.
Crystal agate?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a proper name for that, but given it's slightly see-through, I'm just calling it a crystal agate. I'm a gold prospector after all, not a crystal hunter.
Golds? Oh yeah, a few little nanos in there, eh? The wild bladesman searches for his snuffer bottle.
I put it there for safekeeping.
Safekeeping?
Yeah.
In the bushes. Check out the banding in that. That's super cool.
The gold was consistently giving me 20 specks a pan, but it suddenly got a bit better.
Not as much black sand in this one. I don't feel lucky for gold. Oh, wow, okay. Maybe that's the trick. Don't look for black sand and you'll find a whole bunch of specks. Gadsy, it's opposite day.
Opposite day?
Yeah. When we originally found this spot a year ago, this is where the best gold was. But now we've moved a little bit further down and we're starting to find the same sort of consistent speck count. It seems to be sitting under that bank collapse. We kind of found it.
Sorta. Not really. But
We know the gravel layer above us is giving us about 4 to 5 specks a pan. On Reedy Creek, this super round cobble, especially if you get white quartz pebbles like this, is an indicator of old ground. Now remember, this is sitting on the bedrock under 20 feet or so worth of just blank, useless dirt. So there's a good chance that's original ground. Well, there's no guarantees it's got any gold in it, but if you don't wash your rocks, you've got no chance. No nuggets. Bit of black sand in that.
I've got a rule. Always take the opportunity to test ground that you've never seen before, because the unchecked ground is where the gold's hiding.
This might be a combination. It's just the hard walls offering a little bit of friction to slow the water down and get the gold to drop out. It's obviously eroding somewhat from the bank above and that lower layer, and we've probably got flood gold coming in as well. By the way, there's gold here, that's something.
Either way, the work continued. At 20 specks a pan, I knew all I had to do was put in a little bit of effort and I would end up with a reasonable amount of gold at the end of the day. Panning like this is hard, laborious work, and this ground is much better suited now to a high banker.
And gold, yeah. Super fine, but heaps of it all through that black sand. Nom 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 nom. So often this kind of panning is very tedious because it's just sort of the same sort of speck count again and again and again. We really need to get a high banker back here. But what is interesting is when Gadsy goes, hey, look at the agate I just found. That is a stunner. That's unreal. I still haven't given his last one back that I polished up in the tumbler, but my God, man, yeah.
you're not getting this one.
Show us your gold, Gadsy.
We'd spent about 3 hours each panning on this old spot. Whilst the gold wasn't as good as it once was, we still both had quite a successful day.
How many pans have you done today?
About 15 or something.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's been a lazy day.
0.1, maybe.
0.11.
1.
1-1.
Gonna find any bush cats in there?
Nah, I cleared all the bush cats out, so I got a dog. All the gold is literally in bedrock. All this sort of grey material here is shattered bedrock from the floods, and that's what's trapping it. I just wish it had trapped more, because I'm having flashbacks to a few years ago and thinking, oh, that was nice.
Little did I know, the very next day I'd be in the hills with my metal detector, about to unearth a small bonanza of gold specimens.
All my old man noises arrived in the post the other week and I've installed them. A few years ago, this black sand was way thicker. We'd have coarse black sand and be just ringing the whole pan. And mixed into that black sand would be gold everywhere, and that's why we call pixie pans, because you get little pixie ears of gold either side of your riffle. Not this year. When in doubt, rapid tap. We got gold up the top already, so it's still here. It's all right. Like with a high banker, this would add up real quick. Yeah, there you go. Golds!
And finally, it was time to take our juicy butts back to the cool air conditioning of the car.
That gold has remained relatively consistent all day, so I don't think I'll get a bad take, but it definitely wasn't what we were expecting. So this is the total from about maybe 15 to 20 pans worth from this spot. That's not too bad. As I said, with a high banker, it would add up a lot faster.
With the plans to revisit this spot with a high banker in the near future, I was off home to charge my metal detector and hit some old mine dumps. Massive amounts of rain don't only change creeks, they also help remove the topsoil off mountains, meaning your detectors can then detect a little deeper.
Well, my stupid ass decided to walk all the way up one time, but that's good because there's a good chance of gold nuggets up here. Today I'm equipped with my dog and my GPX 6000 from Minelab. Oh, and a custom 21ers collection bottle from Mick. Yeah, that's right. It's even got a skull on it. And we like skulls. They keep my noodle safe. This here is a beautiful old gold mine that the old timers stoked out. And way back there, you can see some of the vein left over that they were originally chasing. Fern is currently sitting on the waste rock from this mine. So all of this dirt here came out of the hole. Because what the old timers would do is set their explosive charges up, they would explode the main vein, and there would be premium grade ore, and then there would be waste rock. And this is all the waste rock. But you can't 100% guarantee that you're not throwing away small pieces of gold when you do that. And that's why we check these today. By the sounds of it, I've got a very loud signal in the wall over here. Now, if that is a piece of gold, it's probably going to be a big bit, but in all likelihood, it's a bit of junk that the old timers left here to spite me. Stumpy! I mean, bogus. Give it a couple of little lovely tappers. I think we moved it. Somewhere down in here. Don't be a bit of pick. No.
A few minutes later.
Ah, why have you forsaken me? There's no way this is a gold nugget. If this is a gold nugget, it's massive. Oh, I can see it. Yeah! A rusty nugget! The audacity. But if you want to be a gold prospector, you got to dig a lot of rusty nuggets first. And that one sounds nicer. It's a better tone on the 6, so maybe it's gold. That sounds really good. Usually if it's small junk, it'll make a really loud noise in the detector like the last one. And this one's not doing that. I think it's going to be gold or a small bit of spalding. All right, it's something in my scoop in there. Okay, it wasn't that rock, it's one of these things. Oh, it is gold, yeah! That right there is our little nugget. So spit on it to anger the YouTube. Bro, it's a nice bit, look at that. Spitting on nuggets makes them look beautiful. Which is the exact opposite of what happens to most things when you spit on them. I've been consistently working next to this particular gold mine now for about 6 months. And I pulled out a whole bunch of gold, but I feel like it's getting harder and harder. So we're going to move on to a spot that I haven't worked too much. Oh, up the big hill we go. Up the big hill we go.
My next spot had previously given me 14 gold nuggets, but then it hit a dry spell. I was unable to locate any gold in that area until the storms. The iron-rich and waterlogged soil had made the ground more conductive, and therefore my detector that little bit more sensitive.
Machine's ready, Gobbleguts the second is hungry, and I have drunk a whole heap of water and need to pee, so this should give us motivation to find some more gold. Oh, big stretch.
Scraping is pretty simple. You just remove 1 or 2 inches worth of rock, spread it out, and detect the pad, before repeating the whole process again and again and again.
We might have some serious ground noise issues because this dirt is soft and wet still from all the storms. But sometimes you can't fight God. We are ground balancing multiple times because I really feel like that's going to be ground noise. Find out in a second. Okay, that's a target. As Fern will tell you, that took entirely too long. It's very loud. It sounds like a piece of junk. But if it is gold, it should be a good sized bit. That's going to be steel. There's no way. Well, it's whatever's in here, so let's just check bits. I don't know. Is that steel or gold? Steel or gold? The new game show by Bogus Prospecting. Ah, it's gold! Yeah! Look at that once again. The spit trick worked. That's a nice piece. That's real good. They all said there were no nuggets in the northeast. 6 months in with the 6,000, I've got 140 of them, or now 142. Look at that! Is that worth getting eaten alive by march flies, Fern? That's going to be a bit of gold. about there. Famous last words was probably going to take me like 40 scoops to get.
That guess was not far off the mark.
Yep. Yeah, only like the fifth.
That's all I've got left in my scoop, and suddenly I'm starting to feel a little bit less than optimistic that it's going to be a piece of gold because it's very loud and there's no big rocks left. No, I can see it! I can see it! It is gold! That's a solid little chunk of gold. That's 3 nuggets today. Hell yeah, Ferdy! Oh, gobble guts a second. Ooh. This was the start of a spectacular run of specimens. Oh, get I'm going to call that a target.
Come on, be in one of the big rocks.
Damn it. Unlike Mick,
Channel Mick.
it takes me way too long to scoop up the target.
Alright, I'm just going to check this piece of quartz. Ah! Yes! Yes! Okay, that's too big to put in my mouth.
That's what she said. It doesn't sound like there's a big bit of gold in it, but hey, a piece of quartz giving a signal, we know it's gold. The gold in these dumps forms in layers, and that's because when they blasted the main vein, they would tip 1 or 2 ore carts worth of waste rock out onto these piles. And if they cut through a vein that held gold, it would all be dumped out in a single cart or a single layer. So once you find the layer, you've got to follow it.
That rock could just get out of the way. That would be great.
In an effort to save battery, I turned it off because I was finding stuff like this, which makes for kind of, not interesting viewing when you're looking for gold. And immediately after I found this, I found a very loud signal in my scoop, which sounds exactly like this. As you can hear, that's bottoming the machine. So whatever it is big. And given I only have a few things in my scoop, I'm hoping it's in this clump of rock. Ah! That is sweet victory. That is going to be a nice specimen. Right on that sharp point, you should be able to see some little flecks of gold coming through. At any rate, this is turning out to be quite a successful little trip.
We'll use the pointy end. One day I'm going to pull out a big specimen. One day. This sounds small. Ooh, look at that quartz.
Given last time I was here, the ground had stopped paying out, I was over the moon to be finding so many targets.
Check that. Ah, yeah!
Especially considering how many of those targets were turning out to be gold.
So my dumbass wiped some mud off this rock, and all of a sudden, no signal. I had to look on the ground for where it went. Woo woo. I found it. It's on the mud that I scraped off. Well, that's the only chunky thing in there. Come on, big gold, big gold, big gold, big gold. I am consistently amazed at just how small of a target this machine can pick up. That is a tiny little nugget. It's a chip off a nanodot. It's a puglet. Every time I get my pick into this stuff and knock more of it loose, I'm getting signals. And I've only pulled out a couple of pieces of junk so far, so I have high hopes for this sound. Somewhere in this area, I'm just going to check this really big rock first, just in case. Oh, that is quartz. If it's in that, that's going to be mad. Sadness. 64,327.5 scoops later. Why is it never simple to scoop? Can we just get a scoop that scoops first go? Good tradesman never blames his tools, but come on! There are heaps of quartz pebbles in here, so the hope is high. Ooh, let's see if we can just put the dirt in there. Get that March fly off me. Cut one of them. Okay, this one. Ah! Oh my god, you have no idea how pleasurable today has been. Carefully looking over these specimens, I can't see any visible gold, but that is a good sound. Oh, you can even hear it on the pick. That's the sound of gold, baby! The sound I'm talking about is the sound of steel hitting quartz. It sounds very much like glass being hit by a rock. Up here, it's somewhere, double check. No, here. Alright, well, I better not check that. What? No way. I mean, it's a big rock. There's probably not heaps of gold in it. We'll find out. I am running really low on battery. So I'm going to just get to work, get as many as I can. Not even 2 minutes later and we got another one. I got another one. Look at that. Look at that. That is a huge bunker. And it sounds beautiful. Let me sing the song of my people to you. Yeah! Up here with the other fat boy.
With my battery running desperately low, I basically set about digging out as many specimens as I possibly could. And for the next hour, I had reasonable success.
Fernie has made herself a beautiful bed, and I have expended both the last of my energy and time for today. But skulls must be good luck because we got gold.
A quick rinse with water revealed some of the gold in the specimens I'd found this day.
And that piece of gold revealed itself just there. Look at them! Look at the size of that bit. That's a nice chunk from my area. I'm going to say that this is my favourite one. I may not dissolve the quartz off that. That's pretty special looking. Look at those little puglets.
Normally on a Friday, I would take it easy, but instead, I dragged my sorry butt to the creek with a sluice box.
Well, it's the end of the week, and I have so much to do on the weekend, so I'm taking the opportunity to come out with a gold hog box and run a bit of pay dirt. Literally only a couple of weeks ago, this whole area was underwater. And when I say underwater, this is my head height, and there is flood debris in the tree. It's important to know that kind of information because that flood debris tells me that this tree would have been acting as a filter, and in all likelihood there was going to be gold at the base of it. After taking a test pan, wouldn't you know it, I was right. Typical Reedy Creek fine flour gold, but a whole bunch of specks. That is not a high banker, so I still need to classify dirt, and to do that I use a laundry basket from IKEA. It's an expensive laundry basket, but there's also the cheap version of it. How many doll hairs?
3.
And after that, I can see a lot of fathers raiding their daughter's doll collection for some doll hairs. This laundry basket classifies so much dirt so quickly, I love it.
That's my first half bucket, and this should connect onto the power.
All hail Clarkson. If you know, you know. These little sluice boxes by Gold Hog are not designed to process raw dirt. They're literally designed to clean up concentrates at home. However, I love taking mine out to the creek and running some lazy pay dirt through it. And that's just the thing. This is a hobby. It's something I do because I'm passionate about it, not because I'm trying to get rich. If I was solely going to rely on the gold to make money, I would be buying a claim and some heavy equipment. The bonus is, there's not many hobbies that give you money back for participating in them.
Someone is chasing lizards while you're in a drop now. It's not a crazy, ridiculous spec count or anything, so we're not going to see gold after just one half bucket, but we've got a nice accumulation of black sand in these few riffles here. In the case of sluice boxes, black sand is actually your friend. It creates a high level of friction, and because of stratification, it means the gold sits on the bottom of the mat, the black sand or ironstone sits on top of the gold, and that friction prevents the gravels and rocks running over the top of it from scooping any gold out of your riffles and sending it on its way. And that means as long as the black sand in your riffles is loose and not compacted, it's going to be protecting your gold and you don't need to clean out. I'm actually all the way down on the bedrock in this hole now. And my test pan was off the surface, and that means it could just be flood gold, so we've got to test this to make sure there's still gold in it.
Test panning is the key to amateur prospecting. If you want good gold, regular test panning where you work will tell you if you've overshot the pay streak, because digging worthless dirt on a micro scale is never going to get you any gold.
Hopefully there's gold there, because I just ran a bucket of that stuff. This is definitely a flood gold deposit. That means I got to stick to the top gravels. If we dig deep into this, we're not going to get any gold, so we've got to just take the top surface gravels.
Nobody worry, there are no nuggets here, I promise.
Next half bucket, one less scoop.
There's a myth on Reedy Creek that the hard rock mines that feed it were never found, and this just simply isn't true. The reason there's only fine gold on Reedy Creek is because it's the product of glacial till. 2.6 million years ago, this was laid in as conglomerate either side of the creek. That conglomerate was formed from a mountain that has long since eroded. And whilst the old timers did work a significant portion of the conglomerate, there are still thousands of acres of virgin untouched ground running the entire length of the creek. And the glacial activity pulverized all the gold to micro-sized specks, meaning that there aren't any lost mines, they simply don't exist anymore.
I can't see anything yet, so either there's no gold in there or it's hiding. If I'm being honest, sluicing whilst fun, I feel like maybe being at home with a whiskey would have been a better idea than coming to the creek. This is quite indicative of perfect whiskey weather. Even my dog's feeling it. And Gadsy, if we get more than 10 specks, we drink.
Yes, whiskey.
So after just a couple of buckets of pay dirt and talking a lot of crap with a good mate, it was time to clean out and go home.
Right, one bucket of potential golds.
To my great surprise, I got a lot of gold for very little dirt moved. I'm going to have to take the high banker back to this spot.
One full bucket total, and we only need 10 to go get some whiskey. I can see 1, 2, 3 already, so it's feeling good. Ah, there's more than 10. There's way more than 10. The black sand is really thick and dense, and I cannot separate the gold out of it, so we're going to have to take it home to the miller table. But like, honestly, this has almost given me the motivation to do another bucket. I'm not going to, but almost. There is literally flour gold all through the black sand. That's from one bucket. If I had some energy and the weather wasn't so perfect, we might actually get a good gold take today. Anyway, to home.
The 10 gold specimens I found detecting are in caustic soda, so I can dissolve the quartz. Well, 9 of them are. This particular one I didn't want to dissolve, and I'll tell you why in a minute. There's a full tutorial on how to dissolve the quartz off gold specimens on my channel that I've linked in the description below. But the reason I do this is because the gold is very soft, and if I crushed it, it would just turn it into a little ball. So instead, we use caustic soda to melt away the quartz, and it makes for some truly spectacular looking specimen pieces. Whereas this particular nugget, I'm going to be giving away. That's right, if you want to win this gold specimen, it is completely free to enter. I just want to give a piece of amazing geology to one of my viewers. All you have to do is leave a comment below and you're entered. And I will randomly draw the winner on the next video with your name on the screen. Don't fall for scammers that may enter the comment section. This is why I give quartz specimens a caustic soda bath. It keeps the structure of the gold completely intact, and it allows for the shapes to come out without being squished. Here it is, all the gold I found metal detecting after going through a caustic soda bath, except of course our beautiful specimen which we're leaving whole. And out of all the pieces to come out of that caustic soda bath, I think this is the most beautiful. Kind of looks like a knuckle bone, but made of gold. Meanwhile, this is the small pile of gold I managed to pull out panning and doing one bucket through the sluice box. Not a whole lot, and I know there's a little bit of black sand left in that. And the reason we don't mind a little bit of black sand is because it's going to go into a multi-$1,000 gold bar that I'm melting in a very near future episode. All that black sand's going to get completely evaporated. Let's get this gold on the scales, but first I just wanted to mention that I've got a brand new merch store. And for the next 24 hours we're giving 5% off to anyone who orders. The promo code and the link is in the description below. Excluding the beautiful specimen that I'm going to be giving away for free, we're going to get the rest of this gold on the scales. I'm going to guess there's a gram there. Leave your guesses in the comments below. Oh, not bad, 1.14 grams. In today's prices, that's worth 96 Australian dollars, not including the specimen. If we got the gold out of that, we'd probably be a little bit over $100. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you did enjoy it. Please give your dog a big scratch behind the ears for me. Peace, and I'm out.